Hello everyone, and welcome to The Wandering Inn. This is Bar Brawl, which for right now
Ooh,
is
Bar
going.
Brawl.
There you go. Is going to start with me doing kind of exit interviews, and I might get in other role players just to talk. But for now, it is exit interviews with players who have left a campaign, or we finished a campaign, and I want to do like specific podcasty style interview and a few other bits and pieces where we talk about them and the things they're doing and the things they love and the things they've done and just everything about them. So the most important thing to do with that is to promote myself. Hello, I'm Sheepdog. I run the Wandering Inn. I'm awesome. Follow me. Okay, so that now that's out of the way. Um, so
Very convincing.
I think as this is the first one, and we're looking to basically figure this out. I think we'll talk about Sunkist very quickly. Just any thoughts you have, or any like moments you really enjoyed. I have a couple of things I want to bring up, and then it will just be, what you're doing, what you're planning to do, those things that you can talk about. And yeah, just kind of go from there.
Okay, cool. Lay it on me, Daddy-O.
Well, one thing I wanted to talk about as your GM storyteller
Oh, yeah.
was I know we've kind of touched upon it, just you and me like talking about it, but I wanted to bring it up and acknowledge it that Cassius ended up very, very far from where Josh originally imagined him, and I feel like a lot of that is my fault.
I mean, yeah, it is totally and entirely your fault.
I did check in a few times to make sure you were okay with it, because I was like, dude, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 1 year ago-ish, we started Sunkist. And before that, we'd prepped, and I was like reading some early versions of the Cults of the Blood Gods book, and I was like, you know what would be cool is a cult. And I was inspired in part by Huddy von Schland. She made a La Sombra character who was very cool, and her character came from a cult. And she was taking revenge on the cult members and stuff like that. So that inspired me to start part of it. So I was like, yeah, that would be something I'm interested in. And then Sheepy happened and was like, but how about if you're very influential and like everyone's favorite character, Winnie, was concerned about your predilections towards control and power and shit. I was like, that sounds like a compelling internal conflict. Let's do it. And so every time Cassius uncovered a bit about what Winnie had been up to, or what he discovered about his past and what people had been doing, like it influenced what he thought. And then like there was also the whole blessed thing, which is which kind of solidified his position about how to be responsible and stuff like that.
Cassius really grew up. Like, he kept his little bit of mischief that he liked to enact every now and then, but Cassius really grew up from when Winnie died to the end of the like his time on the show.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it as a character transition between not fully giving a shit about all the other characters and just wanting to learn things to giving a shit and wanting to learn things.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I can't say it was all planned to go down that way. Like from my end. But I did really like pushing you or pulling you or nudging you in that direction, because it's very different from a lot of the characters I've seen you play. Not to say you've been pigeonholed, but you do have a tendency to be recruited to betray the party.
Yeah, that's totally what happens.
You know, so it was really cool to see you play this kind of like more caring and less manipulative. Like, Cassius didn't realize what Naharu was doing until right at the end, like as he was leaving, basically. which
totally.
which I thought was really cool, because it kind of highlighted how little he was thinking about internal betrayal, and you know, it wasn't on his mind as much. He had more like trust for his team and, you know, his coterie.
Yeah,
which is probably weird for you.
It is weird. I also, you know, sometimes you're like, I want to play a character that is opposite of what I normally play in this direction or this sense. So he definitely had a lot of loyalty towards initially Winnie's legacy, and then towards, you know, the rest of the characters who helped him, and he tried to help them. And then he realized that was occasionally misplaced.
Yeah. You know,
not that he didn't like or fully trust Nahari. He was just like, oh, I get your deal now.
Yeah. It was so funny, because all the way through the campaign, I was like, who's going to come out as the leader? And no one really did, but it worked, and I kind of liked it. Like,
yeah, because at one point it was definitely going to be Tess.
Yeah.
And Tess was like organizing everyone and sending people places and like getting things for people and like getting stuff done. And then like in between the breakdowns, I was like, Cass has feelings on this, but like he doesn't mind because stuff gets done. And then like when we need, I think the turning point was when we needed to kill spoilers, when we needed to kill
if people are watching this,
her
Lamia?
favorite fuck toy. Yeah, Lamia.
Yeah.
Lamia was the turning point for that dynamic.
Yeah, I think that was the only real time like Cassius put his foot down, basically, and he didn't even do that. That's the only time you could say Cassius betrayed the team, and it was like a couple of members of the team who, you know, were less murdery.
Yeah, he.
But I like
he definitely at that point subscribed to it's better to ask forgiveness.
Yeah,
than permission.
At that time, it was like take aside, you know, good or bad, right or wrong, good or evil, etc. I think it was the right call, because having Lamia come back could have, like, potentially come back would have been horrible for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She already had her claws in Tess for a start.
Oh, 100%. Like, I think that might have been why, because that was Tess's blind spot, and Cassius was like, here is a big red arrow towards your blind spot. It's gonna hurt.
Oh yeah.
And then after that, he just kept on making increasingly complex and elaborate plans to get rid of their enemies, which I rather enjoyed.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Everyone like played with him doing that in a really interesting way. Like, they were surprisingly okay with him going, and here's what we're going to do next. And they were like, why? It's like, you will see. Which was really fun. And I always commend the other players for saying yes or saying no in interesting ways.
Yeah.
And like,
it's not a roadblock, like evolving. It's a diversion or a, you know,
yeah.
You keep things moving, but you don't like block off the RP and the story and everything. It can be hard to do. They
just like Chris, for instance. Chris was totally not okay murdering a bunch of people, but she ended up doing it, and then that was great and fascinating for how her character felt about things.
Oh yeah, it's still going.
And then I feel really bad. I've not had time to catch up.
No,
So the last episode of Sunkissed that I watched was the one that I was on.
the Cassius snapshot
Where
outro.
Cassius is the one where Cassius fucked off. Like
And also I want to say, like, I was not expecting you to get romantic even in the slightest.
me either.
And
but then someone blew up a fucking building for me.
I have a way with seduction.
You certainly do, sir. You certainly do.
I think I've got nearly all of the cast romantic at some point.
Yeah.
Which is quite amusing. But it's very non-traditional Cassius and Talia, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a weird political flirtation. Like they're both fully aware that if the other got bored, they would probably kill the other, but like they do keep it interesting because they are interesting people, and like it's to their entertainment and best interest to, you know, keep the fire alight somewhat.
Yeah, it's There's a very kind of like not competitive, but almost.
I think it absolutely is a little bit competitive.
It's
because Talia was like, "Oh, I think we should work together. By the way, I blew up this for you. Watch it with me." And then Cass is like, "Okay, well, I also think we should work together, but also I entirely destroyed this other faction for you. Check your go."
Well, there was also the kind of like there was a vague hint of like, what are you gonna do next from Talia, which was like, I think that's what drew Cass in. That kind of like, look at what I did. What are you gonna do next? And he's like, oh, challenging me, fucking let's do this shit, which I really enjoyed.
And he like I in my head just think that dynamic would escalate from then on.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think like it'll escalate in a kind of personal sense for them, and I think it'll be it's going to be interesting with Davine in the mix.
Yeah, because that's where they were headed.
I mean, like that's where it ends up basically. Like, you know, like unless you have anything to say as Cassius, but
No, I just like to say that Cassius had a threesome. It's canon now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's always possibilities of like Davine's muscle boys joining in and etc. So who knows? But
sweet.
Yeah. What the other thing I wanted to say is, and it's partially on the same note, which is like, I know how like dark and you know, like kind of hopeless a lot of the time. I was going to say 40k, which is also true, but Vampire the Masquerade is. And like, one of the things I think vastly veered the entire campaign, which I wasn't intending to, was Winnie and his character. And he's so like out of left field in terms of Vampire the Masquerade and Sires, where I was like, I didn't intend for it, but I'm glad it happened. And like, he because he's not, he's weird. He's not a good character, but he kind of is in a lot of ways.
He's an outlier in some interesting ways.
Yeah.
Right. So he was interested in taking care of new vampires. He was interested in, you know, shaping the future of the people that he was invested in and cared for. And he did care for people in his own weird way.
Very weird way.
Like, even though he's still a vampire and he's still like not necessarily a fully good person, like there were genuine moments even after he died between him and the people he cared about. So that was,
he definitely left an echo behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, because you know Vampire and you've played Vampire a lot, VTM.
Yeah.
I was just wondering your take on like that character as your sire and as kind of like this shadow looming over you throughout the campaign. I was wondering if, like, did you enjoy that, or was that kind of like
I did. I think the thing is, like, one thing I'm always a big fan of is when you can flip tropes.
Yeah.
So, like, a pretty common one is, I hate the person who made me this way. Kind of like they did something or they are something horrible and they need to be fought against, or, at the very least, I just harbor resentment against them. And flipping that on its head, it was interesting. And also, if there were any more daddy issues in that fucking game, I think Vandy would have exploded.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, like you, I love flipping.
When he was the best dad.
Yeah, he was. Like you, I love flipping tropes, and it's not just flipping tropes. I set myself challenges when I make a campaign at this point, where I'm like, okay, everyone always hates their sires. It's something I see a lot, and I'm like, I'm gonna make a sire who's interesting, and there's no reason to be against them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like this. It was like when we came into the campaign, I hated Toreadors. I just thought they were boring, for the most part, although I've seen some people play them really interestingly. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make some interesting Toreador NPCs. And I did. I feel like.
You absolutely did. Yeah, so who was Toreador? There was, obviously...
Nathan.
Nathan...
Michael.
Did we actually ever see Michael?
No.
No, we didn't see Michael. We saw Davina and her sister.
Leah.
Yeah, but is there anyone else?
I mean,
Lamia. Was Lamia?
Lamia was Toreador, yeah.
Yep.
And there were a couple of other smaller minor characters. The Nicole Lovelace, who
Oh,
who died.
yeah.
She was Toreador.
Forgot about her. Yeah, she fucking died, didn't she?
Yeah. So did Julian.
He was Malkavian, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, speaking of Malkavians,
oh yeah.
just because we actually had a reveal in the last episode, of like what weirdness was going on with Kael Katen. I basically, like, they figured, I think Hydra and a couple of the other people, a couple of the other players figured it out, but basically, his Malkavianness, the thing that made him weird was, he vibed off other people's, kind of aura and matched it.
Oh, off their mood. He mirrored people.
Yeah, so he, like, and it was
he was a mimic. Oh my god!
It was unconscious.
You invented mimics.
Do you remember when he met Mac?
Yep.
And he was all weird and disjointed, and like sometimes he'd like stop and he'd like zone out. It's because he was vibing on 3 personalities, and he was having a real difficult time with it. And then
that's brilliant.
In the last episode, he went to visit Alec, and it was like the most polite, most like upper class. No, please, you first. And like they had this really highbrow conversation, and yeah, it's
oh my god,
it's one of those things where it's such a long setup, but it was so worth it because, and I'd have loved for some more people to have gone and seen Kael and basically vibed with him and had them, because like if Tess had gone by herself to see Kael, that'd have been hilarious. But yeah, it's basically why.
Can you imagine Tess going to talk to herself?
Yeah, I know, right?
Instant argument. That's
I mean,
brilliant.
she did kind of with faux gravestone.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of those things where like no one no no one knew because it hadn't been featured enough. So it's not like a twist or a surprise or something. As far as I'm concerned, it's just like it's a little interesting bit for you because obviously you weren't there for it. I thought you'd find that interesting, and it's how
that is very cool.
It's how Kale has survived in the city. Because anyone who goes to meet him thinks, wow, this dude's like right on my same page as me. Like we agree on the same things, and which is also why he didn't know what was happening with the old guard, but knew he should totally like cede a little territory to keep them happy and not actually go at them. So yeah, that's I think Tess would hate her clone. Just myself personally. It's funny because like Nathan has a very similar personality to Tess. Just he has different morals and stuff like that. And she instantly like it's like a magnet.
Disliked him, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a magnet. They're so similar that she instantly like hated it and was repelled.
Yeah. Repelled. It's it was funny because like seeing everyone's reaction to Nathan versus her reaction to Nathan was fascinating to me because she was like, "Can't you see that he's the fucking worst? Oh my god!" And everyone was like,
"He seems really nice."
He doesn't seem as bad as everyone else. Like he's bad, but like I don't get it.
Well, the thing is he insulted Tess personally with the things like, he did.
If he'd gone after any of the other people, then they probably would have gone, "Oh yeah, he is really bad." But that just never happened.
Well, he doesn't like hypocrites because he is a hypocrite. I'll talk about it more like once the show's completely over, just in case he comes up again and it's important. So I don't want to do spoilers and stuff. I think I told you a little bit about it.
Yeah.
But the only other person it was possible he'd take an interest in is Chris, which would have been a house fire.
Chris would have tried to kill him.
Chris would have tried to kill him, and you guys probably would have seen how scary he is when he gets going. He's not like strong or anything. But he's always got ideas and plans and etc. And he's just like, okay, you're gonna kill me? Well, then this will happen. And you're like, wow, that's much worse than having this dude about. So yeah, it's interesting. God, it'll be interesting when we do this with Vandy and get to talk about it for her. But yeah, do you have? I would say what was it? My favorite, like just funny Cassius scene was him and Alec in the house trying to with Mr. Clicky and everything.
Fucking Mr. Clicky.
That was
so like I loved that they both us as players and as characters got more and more embarrassed as it just went on and we continued to fuck it up. That was quite funny for me. But oh my god, just agreeing to never talk about it again. And then lying to everyone.
It was like the Critical Role door that like really early at the beginning of Critical Role, they were trying to open a door and it took like 20 minutes and they injured themselves like 2 or 3 times. Just one of those like everything goes wrong and it's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Oh yeah, Cass, Mac, and the coin. That was also a great moment. I was really happy with that actually because I wanted to give Josh something to like get him intellectually like ooh, because we hadn't had too much at the time, and then you guys managed to figure out the maze and kind of went into the maze and started looking through the maze, and I was like, yes, this is going to entertain Josh for a while because not even Cassius just thought he'd have a lot of fun with it.
You know, the funny thing is, I made so many different versions of the fucking map for that place, and then I almost screamed when you just put up a picture of it on the fucking screen
that was,
for the one like the Halloween version.
yeah, that was once you guys
like,
had figured
shit.
it out.
I didn't get that it was a big fucking square. I just ignored when you were saying left, right, and then you get to this thing.
Yeah.
I just wrote them down as paths.
No, I don't have enough confidence in myself to build my own maze, so I picked a maze and customized it to make sense. So you had the teleporty bits and the bits that like bumped you back to the beginning. But I was very much like, there's such a thing as too much, and in my head I was like, I can't make this frustrating to the point where the players will be like, fuck this, the viewers are going to get bored of this, we're getting bored of this. So I wanted it to be a challenge, but not to go on and on. So there were effectively ways around things and ways to deal with things, and you start to realize as you go. And I felt like there was, like, luckily you're quite smart and you managed to figure it out. And yeah, it was great. But once you'd figured it out, I wasn't like, okay, every time you go in the maze, you go left, you go right, you do this, you do this. I was like, no. At the point where you figure it out, we just kind of cut to you getting to the rooms and stuff, because it's a solved puzzle. I don't know. Like, aside from that, is there any other points of Sunkissed you like? Are there any obviously, if I can't answer it, I can't answer it. But are there any other questions of like unanswered things that you might want to know?
Oh my god, so many. Like the thing about the mummy, I know you can't answer that.
Like, the mummy's basically not an issue anymore. I mean, it's a massive issue for the world, but it's not for the city and for the story, because it's gone now, basically.
Oh, did we ever talk out loud in public, I guess, about the whole fucking brain explodey revelation I had about Morgan?
I don't think we did.
And how close Cass got to like pissing off a really powerful mage.
Yeah, that was yeah. So so that was oh god, I don't have my notes on me. So that was with the crown.
Yep.
It was a magical artifact that Morgan technically used to own. Well,
oh
no.
yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
It was not Morgan. It was Guinevere.
Guinevere, that was it. Sorry.
Guinevere was looking for her crown and asked Morgan for help. So Morgan was finding spells and incantations around Weirgate, and the reason she couldn't find it is because of her own barrier that was in the mist that Graves, like, she made it. Okay, should we talk about this? Because this is...
Yeah. So, shall I tell the bit that I remember about it?
Yeah, I'll fill in
Essentially,
the blanks.
we found the crown in the maze, right? And we were like, ooh, this is kind of cool. Let's take it with us, because, we can study it, and it's maybe something to do with ghosts, and that will help Tess. And yeah, sure, let's loot it and take it with us. So we went outside, and then unbeknownst to us, Morgan's like,
well, Guinevere,
crown finding alarm goes off, and then immediately stops, because instead of going home like we said we would, we went straight into the warded forest, in the mist that she created and was unavailable to her as a place. So she was like, fuck, I sort of know where it is.
I felt it for a second. Where is it? Where'd it go?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was Guinevere that sensed the crown, because it's her crown. And she, like, Guinevere is in Atlantis. And she's chilling there, and she's kind of like not important, but if she got her crown, she'd be a lot more important. And she's not super happy about that. So she felt the crown and she was like, shit, it's been like 1,000 years. Where the fuck is my crown? Obviously not quite that long, but you know what I mean.
Mm.
And so she was like, yo, Morgan, my friend, can you find the crown for me? Because I can't really leave and you're banished from Atlantis. So please go find the crown and I'll owe you a favor. And Morgan's like, fuck yeah, favor, sweet. If she gets that crown, she'll be stronger. She'll be like more important. Her owing me a favor, that'll be awesome. And so Morgan was going around trying to find this fucking crown. And the thing that was blocking her was your ward that you originally asked Shelby to set up for you, and Shelby subcontracted to Morgan because Shelby can't deal with spirits. And so Morgan went and chatted with Faux Gravestone and was like, "Sup, Big Wolf, will you empower this ward to make it stronger?" And he was like, "Fuck yeah." She was like, "Sweet." But that meant that she'd lost control of the ward, so her own ward was blocking her from it. It's just this whole goddamn big thing of like, and so any time that she, the dead body with the organs was her doing a ritual trying to find the crown, with the frozen time.
Yep.
And like Morgan was so close to the group a couple of times, but never got there until Shelby found the crown and was like, I should return this because they're gonna get in trouble if they keep this fucking thing. It's why he was so forceful about it, because he was trying to save your guys' lives.
Dear.
And like this is the thing is, it's like the maze. It's like a few other things that didn't pop up, and I'll probably save for another campaign. Like you do these things not because you necessarily want them to show up. It's if they do show up, you can talk about them, and it like adds to the background of the world.
Yeah.
It's like all of the groups who like tried to leave together, as they like banded together as kindred, and they were like, let's leave, and then they got murdered. Like, you guys never found out about it, but it still happened, and it's I mean, I think you found out about it later, but you never like encountered it.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to know that you have stuff prepared.
Yeah. And I was so worried that you weren't gonna find the maze, dude. It was so close. Let's go upstairs. Why not? That was it. That was literally it. If you hadn't gone upstairs, you probably never would have found the maze. And I was just gonna be like,
stayed fucking just standing around in the guy's living room.
It probably would have showed up in like a 40k Rogue Trader tomb or something. But yeah, I think unless you have any other thoughts or like queries and stuff on, I think most of the Cassius stuff and like any mysteries for the Cassius stuff are out, and everyone knows them. But if you can think of anything,
pretty much, I think
it's one of those things where we need Tash's notes. We just need to like scroll through them and look for the bolded stuff with big question marks. Well, I will do like a Q&A at the end of the campaign with the viewers, and they'll probably have a lot of questions, and I can answer them all.
Yeah.
So that's enough about Sunkist. We went on for like 30 minutes. Jeez, that's freaking kind of understandable with a year-long show, I guess. But
I mean, yeah, there's always more to talk about. But is there an interesting cabbie in Weirgate?
I mean,
as far as I'm aware, no.
That's the picture.
But you what? Oh no, fuck that. No. Fuck the picture. Fuck the horn.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously the horn is a bit different in the main Sunkiss story than to the Halloween, but yeah, it's on the vague track of that kind of thing. So, Josh, Gaming FTL, Strange Adventures.
No.
Wait, which one's the no?
Uh.
Oh, okay. So now that, I mean, obviously you've got your job, which, you know, massive congratulations. I hope you're enjoying it.
Thank you.
Aside from that, what projects that you can talk about, or what things you're currently doing, you know, in the kind of TTRPG verse? Because I know a couple vaguely that you probably can't talk about.
There's a couple of things I can't talk about,
Yeah.
but the only thing I'm doing at the moment publicly, I'm playing a game of Masks offline with mates, which is really fun.
Okay.
I'm playing an airhead who's really strong and almost indestructible. So that's a good
kind
time.
of like that to be it. I'd like to see you playing that in a show, you know, like
I'm enjoying it. It means I don't have to engage too much with the deeper parts of the story.
Yeah.
I could just be like, what's happening at this very moment? Okay, cool. My character doesn't understand. We go from there.
I punch, I eat, or I ignore. These are your options.
Yes.
Choose one.
Yeah, or I attempt to date one of the other characters. That's a good time.
Yeah.
So if for those of you who know Powered by the Apocalypse, I am playing the Bull playbook, which is literally about someone did something to you and you're trying to find out what it was and why it made you so strong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I have actually left the game in which I was playing the super fast idiot Odette, who was a La Sombra, and she caused a lot more problems than she solved, basically, because.
Welcome to Josh's characters.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you had Leech, which of course was a fucking beautiful Vampire the Masquerade campaign on Table Story.
6 episodes of pure adrenaline.
Dude, I could like it. But see, the thing is you say adrenaline. You're talking about yourself as a storyteller and not the actual show.
I meant myself. The actual show is like
it's
very
dark.
slow paced. It's very dark.
It's solid atmosphere. It's like you have to cut the atmosphere with a knife. It's so dark and
it's
foggy.
like it's like Black Treacle, the TTRPG. Like
so good.
I'm very proud of that. Still, the players just fucking delivered and gave me so much to work with.
I mean, you can tell that they're all like solid veteran RPers because a lot of them had never played VTM before.
Oh yeah. Like,
you know?
I think that was part of what made it so exciting for me, is because they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know what a diablerie was or any of that like vampire jargon.
Shenanigans.
So yeah, any of the shenanigans from the actual like world. So I was just like, fuck it, it doesn't matter. I'm like, you know, the vampire tropes. We're gonna use those. We're gonna like, if I really need to explain anything, I'll do it as I go. But like, your powerful vampires, we are going to create this atmosphere. And I just they did most of the heavy lifting during that.
Dude,
I
mean,
was just like there for the ride.
Sure, you could say that as a modest person, but ultimately I'd say 50% of any atmosphere or whatever is down to the GM. So
I tried to set a tone. Yeah, like it's not a pleasant story, and I did have quite a lot of fun, as I'm sure you did, making up tragic backstories for these characters that they weren't quite fully aware of yet. Like there's some real reveals that are super subtle that I was very happy with, and like just watching the players' faces go, wait, what? Why did they do that?
Why would that be the case?
Why is that there? Why is he doing it? What? Josh, what?
Well, like, one interesting thing, the main reason that we got Peachy Pixel 8 as Aiden is because he wanted some practice before.
Yeah, he wanted to play VTM before.
And I was like, yo, dude, I have a character you can play. Come and give it a go. Because, like, Peachy's done serious before, but I'm going to use the word iconic. His, like, silly characters, I think, especially he feels, are much more iconic. And so, he's, I wouldn't say he's got a reputation, but he's more known as, like, a silly role player.
That's the thing. Like, I remember him and PB talking, and PB was like, Peachy, this can't be a meme character. I will fucking kill you. This can't be a meme. Don't do it.
Exactly. And then
he was like, oh, I can do this. I can do a serious character. And then he was like, fucking delivering this broken, sad PTSD boy for 6 episodes.
And when he came on to play Aiden, I was like, dude, I've been playing this character like a little bit silly and etc. But this is your character now. Like, it's the same thing I said to Sachika when she came on to play Davine. It's like, here are your notes. This is the character. Play it what makes sense for you. And like that snack shot with Peachy and Tash was just so good. But yeah, sorry, I keep going back to Sunkist.
No, that's cool.
But yeah, Leech was great fun, and I advise you to go watch it on Table Stories YouTube and demand more Leech. And hopefully that will happen, because I want to see more Leech as well.
I would love to run more Leech.
Yeah. See,
like just that playing with that group as well is really nice. In fact, I want, like, it's one of the kind of shows that just makes me want to go, I want to GM all the time, always.
Yeah.
But also then that's an awful idea.
you get to the point where I am, where I'm like, someone have me as a player, please.
Right.
I've been a GM for like 2 years now. I loved playing in Bloodlost, by the way. If you don't know, everyone, Bloodlost is Josh's VTM on Strange Adventures. I think there's been another one you've put up. I mean, obviously there's Stitch of Fate, but no, Blood on the Grand Strand is Huddy's.
Blood on the Grand Strand is Huddy's. I broadcast it on my Twitch channel, so you can watch it there in the VODs if you like. But it's on Huddy von Schland on YouTube, and I play a.
Do you have a link for that, or Mark? Could you find a link for Huddy quickly? I don't want to send Josh off on a hunt.
Yeah. Hang on. There you go. It's in chat.
There you go. It's in chat. Thank you.
And I'll put it in the Discord as well. There you go. It's a really fun kind of contained story where I play a Ravnos who is a it's a group of vampires that can create illusions. So I had a lot of fun fucking around with illusions and being like a bit lighter of a character, like not super politically involved. Like, he doesn't care, he doesn't want to be in that, and he was like basically dragged into it. But yeah, he's a bit of a ladies' man, bit of a charmer.
It sounds
mostly just trying to live his best on life.
It sounds like a different approach to it, but it sounds a bit like how Digby was. And
yeah.
Although to be fair, Digby came in at the end, and there wasn't super load of time. But Digby was like, "I'm here. I'm down for anything. I'm not involved. I don't care."
So the thing is, like, some of the stuff I did in Leech and was a direct, it was directly because of what I'd learned GMing Bloodlost and being a player in Sunkist and all of that.
Like, there was a point where you were like, "Yo, dude, I'm straight up stealing this myself," and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's fucking do it."
Yep. Yeah, man.
And being a player on Bloodlost inspired me for Sunkist. So, man, this just sounds like a massive circle jerk now, doesn't it? Where we're both like, "Oh my god, Josh, you're so inspiring. Oh, you inspire me."
You have such good ideas that I'm going to steal. Oh my god, those ideas you used were perfection. I love them.
My take on my ideas, and I've had people in who watch My Only War stuff, like Charlie Foxtrot and The Last Ditch, they like they put comments on on the videos, and they like, hey, I love this idea, I'ma steal it. And I'm like, fucking, if as long as you let me know and as long as you tell me you like it, then
Yeah,
that's
100%.
perfectly fine.
That's the thing. I like, part of the reason I enjoy broadcasting the games is because if someone sees something and then it's like, yeah, that would be good in my game, but my game's like this, so I'd like, tweak it and then it fits. I'm like, yeah, that's so good. It's like an infinite resource of roleplay shows out there. Just literally fucking steal things. Like,
not channel names,
don't
though.
not channel names.
My modern chat. Hey sheep, can I steal your channel name?
Steal the ideas that people use and just like,
it's not even stealing.
Do whatever you want.
It's inspiration. Or at worst, usually it's an homage, unless you take something someone has done and then boil it down to like some bullshit where it's not even good. That would annoy me.
Don't execute my ideas badly or I'll kill you.
Yeah, I mean, if you do it and let me know, I'll be like, yeah, sure, whatever. But I don't know. It's every now and then I see something that I've done and someone has been like, I'm gonna do this, but do it worse, and I just see it randomly. I'm like, I don't really like that, but whatever. Just do it well. If you're gonna steal shit, do it well. Do it better than me. Fuck it.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a new idea, but
no, like, yeah,
that's part of what I enjoy. Is just
I don't think I've said this on the record on stream. I've said it in my Discord when I'm hanging out with people in my Discord and playing a game or whatever. But Nathan Fortuna is actually inspired by an anime character in an anime called Do Da Da Da.
I don't know that.
Yeah, it's not a super well-known one, but he's a dude who like is a massive asshole. Like, obviously different characters, but yeah, he was inspired by him. The guy's a massive asshole, makes a girl like okay, so just to give you a very, very quick idea of what he's like, at the beginning of the show, he pretends to be a dude who like on the internet, he basically catfishes a girl, pretends to be like the same age as her, and like his parents are getting a divorce and are cheating on each other, and she has the same situation, and like she goes to meet him, she gets kidnapped by random people, he hires someone to save her, the person saves her, brings her to him, and he's like, hey, I'm that guy, you wanted to meet up with me so we could commit suicide together, but you were happy that you were saved and you weren't going to die. And he's like, haha, you're a terrible, horrible human, I hate you, but I love humans, bye. And she's like, well, fuck this guy, I'm gonna kill myself anyway, and that'll show him. So she jumps off a building and gets saved by the original person who saved her at the earlier. Who basically tells her like life is worth living, and it's a really interesting scene, but he's such an asshole, and that type of character fascinates me. So I wanted to put my own spin on it with Nathan, where he's a bit more he's not as self-assured in the same way. He's a lot more like self-critical. Nathan is. That just comes out violently at people, unfortunately. But people are fucked up, man. Brains work in weird ways. Especially kindred brains.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry, I just remembered, because we were talking earlier about you wanting to GM more. Like, I want to see you GM Call of Cthulhu.
You mentioned this to me. I've never played it. I do have a little bit of fatigue for the Cthulhu mythos stuff, but I'm always down to check out new RPGs.
I mean,
well, new to me.
If you've got a fatigue on it, just put your own spin on it. Like go against.
How many editions of Call of Cthulhu are there now? Like 8.
I don't know.
It's like too many, and from what I've heard, they are all the same. But that
it's
happens with iterative things.
I'd love to see
But
you do the setting because when I do a show, it has its positives and it has its negatives depending on so many things. Where like with me doing VTM, it's not as dark as it could be. It's not as gritty and like punishing as it could be. I'm not much of a punishing GM for the most part. I can torture, like goddamn, I can torture, for hours. But I don't get into the. I tend not to go to the the extent where Leech went with that really dark atmosphere and
Yeah, I punish them quite a lot during that.
Yeah. So and but I have my strengths as a GM or as a storyteller where I will, and I think, like, feel free to tell me if this isn't a strength, but I think that my like wrecking ball tendency to just charge into lore and be like, I will change stuff, I will do new things, like, if it makes sense, if it works, I don't care. I think it's because of 40k, because 40k is so bizarre and vague sometimes. And
it's like 30 years of lore, so whatever, do what you want. It's always nice to, especially for players who have played through stuff a lot, to encounter either new versions or entirely new things that they didn't expect. So like I've got my own headcanon for different games about, how vampires work or, how magic works, etc., etc. And that has an impact on the world and the players.
Yeah. But as I said, I'd love to see you take on, like, as a GM, take on Call of Cthulhu and do like maybe in the future we can sort it out for the Wandering Inn.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just have you like come on to GM like a shorter, dark campaign of
just me
Cthulhu.
booting down the door. Okay, fuckers, who wants to get their brain scrambled by an unspeakable monster?
Yeah, I mean, like, look, like this is how much I kind of want to see it. When I talk to other showrunners and other channel owners and stuff who do like TTRPGs, I'm like, you should try and get Josh for Call of Cthulhu, because the first person who does that will have a great fucking show.
Well, I'm very, very glad to have you as an advocate.
Shit, man. If God, we're not even talking about you that much anymore. We're just going off to random subjects. But
that's fine.
You know the D&D show that Tessichka and Tash were in. It was Vandy's Game Hers D&D one shot for charity. I helped both of them create their characters.
Sorry, I just really like that idea. Defiance, fucking love that game. World of Horrors is a really good. It's a roguelike game based on the art of Junji Ito.
Oh god, Junji Ito scares me.
It's in like a 2-bit, like 8-bit pixel art style for that, and you've got to go around solving mysteries and unlocking keys to like, and your entire town's falling to the old ones, sort of thing. It's really good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
there's another one which is like Wild West Cthulhu almost. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but that could be interesting. I think there's a Wild West zombie one as well. There's some interesting shows out there. One I really want to do in the future is Legend of the Five Rings. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I remember stuff about the card game for that, but it's got an interesting world.
It's something that's just begging to be sheepified, because I look at it and I'm like, look at all those rules I could rip out and like don't need this. Just like, oh, gone. But yeah, no, I know it's I I don't, and this is the thing is like, as someone who gets emailed very often by showrunners, channel owners, and random groups who offer me money to GM them in 40k, I don't want to
What?
pigeonhole you into like dark, gritty shit, you know? Where it's like,
No,
Josh,
the thing is, that's my vibe at the moment. Like,
Yeah.
I'm down for that. But yeah, you know, a good GM can GM anything that they're genuinely interested in.
oh yeah, absolutely. Like I've never
I'm
done.
not saying that I'm a good GM. I don't know if I can do that, but you know, just that would be a hallmark of a good GM if they did exist.
Hey, if you have a 40k show idea, that's different. People are trying
I'm
to
not
hire
doing
me.
40k. I'm not stealing your niche from you, babe.
Dude, please steal it. Literally, this year, I think I've been emailed about 5 times. 2 times for shows and 3 times for private games, where people are like, I really like the way you do 40k. And I'm like, but you
Who's
wouldn't.
fucking emailing you? No one emails me. I want emails. People send me emails.
Dude, find something where people are rabid like 40k, but there aren't very many like GMs or people willing to run the games.
Can I do something that's not 40k though?
I mean VTM, but there are loads. There are loads of good.
It's too
Storytellers.
many good Vampire the Masquerade storytellers. Too many.
We had Jason Carl in the chat on last episode again.
Oh shit! Nice.
He said hi. He said hey at the top, and he said goodbye at the end. So I'm like, the fanboy in me is hoping that he watched like some of it.
Yeah.
I know how like people who run shows and etc.
You don't have time to watch.
You don't always have time to watch. You know, it's just how it is. So I never expect it. But after the show, I was like, I was being a little gushy about Jason Carl. I was like, oh my god, he's the best.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Well, just talking about him as a storyteller and like how much I like. No offense, Jason. How much I don't like LA by Night, but I still can watch it because I love Jason Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah. No offense to LA by Night. You know, like it's just not my thing.
It's not 100% my thing either, but like
it's too structured.
There are I don't know, there's some really cool characters in it. And
yeah, but a lot of them are already made characters who are from Bloodlines.
Oh, that's true. I mean, like it's the eternal call of the vampire fan. Like Nines is hot. You can't get around that. So's the actor they got.
Yeah. One of my favorite characters is Isaac Abrams, played by Jason Cole. He does such a good job of playing Isaac Abrams. I love that character.
Yeah, it's weird. Like when I saw him playing Isaac Abrams, I was like, I really love that character. And then I like looked at a picture of Isaac Abrams while I was like trying to remember stuff about Bloodlines while I was listening to the show, and then like that image just stuck.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's some pretty good characterization there.
Like I can't remember because it's been a while since I played Bloodlines. I can't remember what Isaac Abrams looked like. I just see Jason Cole's
wrinkly
face.
Old white dude, thin face.
No offense, Jason Cole.
Thin hair.
I literally went. I can't remember what he looks like.
Start every sentence like that, sheepy.
Look. I literally said I can't remember what he looks like. When I think of him, I just think of Jason Carl, and you go wrinkly old white dude. I was like, whoa! I'm not getting behind that statement. But you're talking about Abrams, of course.
I'm talking about Abrams.
Oh
wow, rude.
So
fucking
yeah. I know, like past. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about that you're doing? Because I know the Grand Strand, Blood on Grand Strand.
I'm still working on Stitch of Fate. Stitch of Fate's still going on. We're halfway through the season 2. We are. Oh, do you want to know a fucking cool secret? We're getting custom dice sets.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Mate,
it's not a secret, really.
Well,
but
you just said it, so it's not a secret anymore. The hard-hitting news from the Bar Brawl.
Yeah. Oh God, I get to design a dice set, Sheepy. This is fucking incredible.
I mean, dude, you're part of a really, really good show which people adore. So, like,
Yeah,
that type of
that's
thing will
cool and
happen.
everything, but I get to design.
I know, but I'm
dice.
saying because I'm saying because of that. You
Oh
know?
yeah, that.
So it's completely self-made. It's I'd love a custom dice set for the Wandering Inn. Maybe that's something I can figure out.
You can, yeah,
I wanna do
get sponsors.
yeah, I want to do another I'm not good at the business side of things. We have possible. I'm in possible talks, but we'll see.
Ooh, hashtag sponsorship. Oh.
I actually haven't seen Seattle by Night. I don't think that's got some of the same cast members, right? I think is Jason Carl.
That's the Penny Arcade one, is it? I think I saw the first episode of that. It's got Bronze Girl in it. I think if it's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
And she's fucking awesome. So, but no, I never watched any of that one.
It's yeah, it's
Yeah, it is. I've had Penny Arcade one. Yeah, I really like the art for it. That's about as much as I can tell you.
I think I saw like a clip of it, and I was like, oh, interesting. And then I was like, but I've got to write Sunkissed, I've got to write The Last Ditch. They're very, very different, and I have to space them out. Otherwise, you know, I start talking about, you know, the seductive glint in the eye of some soldier who's firing at one of my players, and I'm like, no, that's Sunkissed. Cancel that. Yeah,
could happen.
But no, like and I've already told you this, and I think I've even said it on stream. Like, I love the setup and the kind of the production style and everything of Stitch of Fate so much. I've 100% told you I'm stealing that to inspire me to do something in the future.
Well, it's
like
something that I was thinking about for a while, and then Dot came to me and was like, hey, I want to put a show together. And Dot and I were talking, and we were like, we want to do a podcast. And I was like, I've been wanting to do a podcast for ages. And he's like, and it's only going to be like an hour-ish per episode. And I'm like, you fucking read my mind. Get out. Like, what's going on? And we all had this very clear idea of what would make a really good show in terms of like, you know, how we set up the characters and the actual running of the show, but also the production of it, so that it's a reasonable amount of time to listen to. So you don't have to go for 4 hours, like start and stop in a YouTube video, put it on podcast platforms. Like people have been doing this with D&D podcasts for ages. I've never listened to many podcasts, and I absolutely have been wanting to make one for a very long time. So it was just a breath of fresh air, and getting to do it with such cool people as well was just a bonus.
Did you ever play the Shapeshifting Detective?
No.
It's a FMV game.
Oh yeah.
There's a bit in it where it's like a kind of cutscene type thing, where you're walking through a hallway and you have this like old-timey radio show which has the noises in it, and it has the narrator with the really good voice, and you know, they're like, I was walking through the rain, and it's like and I was like, sometimes when I listen to Stitch of Fate, I feel like I'm listening to an old, you know, one of those old-timey radio like film noir like noir narration stories. And I'm like, man, that's so
Mathis
cool.
has such an evocative way of describing things.
You remember how we were talking about how different storytellers have different strengths?
Yeah.
Mathis is a fucking beast when it comes to like descriptions and setting the scene, and like, goddamn, like that dude can just fucking get out of here with that fucking talent. Oh god.
Yeah. It's really a privilege to get to work with all of those wonderful people.
Yeah. Oh, that actually reminds me, because I was talking, and I was sidebarring us out of talking about you, because apparently I'm a terrible podcast host.
Cool.
The Game Hers charity
Oh, yeah.
thing. I helped Tash and Tess make their characters, and I gave them a challenge each for that show. Where I said to Tash, play a character who will refuse to do anything. Like literally, I'd rather die than leave this room if someone asks her. Unless she's paid. Except for she doesn't give a shit about money or jewels or anything valuable. She likes things like string and buttons and shit. And if you pay her in that, she will die to do the thing you're hired to do. So it's like, could you come with me? We're leaving the room. She's like, no, fuck you. I'm never leaving. I'm staying here forever. I'll die here. And it's like, what if I gave you this piece of string? She's like, I will die leaving this room. We will leave this room right now. Let's do it. Go. And Tess's character, I challenged her to play an agreeable character. In the sense of, if you ask her to do anything, she will say yes. She played a Death Domain cleric who was a turtle. And there was like the best one of my favorite bits in it was when they met an evil statue that asked them to free it, and she was like, okay. And then they walk upstairs, and she's like, yo guys, it asked us to help it and free it. We should free it, right? And they're like, no, we need to kill it. And she's like, oh, okay, let's do that. And then so you have the magpie and the Labrador basically, and you have them through the entire show. And getting towards the end, one of the other characters who played more of a straight man, straight lady, asked them both, if someone asked you to jump off a bridge, would you do it? And Tess immediately went, of course. And then then Tasha's character goes, how much are they paying me? And the character who asked the question just face palmed and was like, oh. It was great party dynamics. But I loved that so much. After I watched it, I was like, yo Tash, if no one, I want to see more of this show. If no one's doing it, I will fucking bankroll this show and put it on the Wandering Inn. Like, I'm happy to do that shit. So, like, let Dot know, because I know Dot has been, kind of been like, I really enjoyed GMing that. I might run it myself. Let Dot know that if she doesn't have the time or the ability to run it, or just isn't going to run it, I'll bankroll that shit. I want to see that campaign. It's D&D, and I want it on my channel.
Oh my god. Dot's one of those people who's always working. But everything she does is also perfect, and I don't know how magic she is, but I'm guessing very.
I'm guessing pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was great. I really enjoyed that show. But that's not your stuff, so
No, it's not. Fuck Dot. You hear that? You hear that, Dot? Don't kick me off Stitch of Fate. Don't you do it.
I don't know. Seeing as you've got your job and you're working that now.
Oh yeah.
I guess we can't really talk and the things that are upcoming you can't really talk about. So you make it very hard
anything
to
upcoming.
promote you.
Like,
I guess
only thing I'm working on Stitch of Fate.
Clone drone in the bone zone.
Yep, clone drone in the danger zone.
Clone drone in the danger zone. Cool game
that's
that you guys should check out. That Josh
Smashy robot game I'm working on. It's fucking awesome. And like I want to do a couple of one shots. I've planned this one shot of every character is a Toreador.
Ooh.
And they're all trying to get into this place and heist a painting, but also they're bitchy to each other.
Ooh.
Which is very funny. I've got the cast together. I just need to actually organize it. And then the other thing I want to do is this one shot called Night of the Hogmen.
Okay.
Which is like a Blades in the Dark system one-shot game book thing for free, and you literally run from a horde of pig people. Like, that's all it is.
Fair enough. Well, okay, so the first thing I want to ask on those ones is, were you at all inspired by my Toreador Sunkissed stuff on your idea, or is that just
the Toreador thing came out of a meme that chat made in in my Twitch chat. They were just like talking about all bard parties and like, what's the VTM equivalent of that? It's all Toreador parties because they're the fucking worst.
Yeah, it's I have a new respect for Toreadors after like GMing and creating the characters in Toreadors. So I'm like, this is interesting, and you'll find out why in a bit. I'm like, Toreadors I actually quite like now. They were always my least favorite clan, which means probably Ventrue are now, which means I probably need to make some... I need to do a new campaign of VTM and make some interesting Ventrue characters, because I'm like, the Ventrue aren't that interesting to me. It's like, why be a Ventrue if you can be a La Sombra, right?
I mean...
La Sombra are just more interesting.
Depends.
No, I know. Like, it's a catch-all kind of, like, vagary, but,
yeah.
I mean,
I know what you mean. Like, I used to think Ventrue and Toreador were like the boring defaults, but no, I've seen a lot of very interesting takes on them. So,
yeah, I mean that'll always help because you've played so much VTM. You've probably seen a lot. It's probably all the clans for you now are like so mostly are probably so equal to each other.
I have a lot of favorite things about different clans, but I'm finding it harder and harder to tell you what my favorite clan is.
Oh,
but I normally go Tremere or Nosferatu, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean,
they're the same.
I've been both. Once by accident.
Oh yeah, it's true.
hey, Mr. Stereo. That was my first time playing VTM at all. So I went for like it was Thin Blood, but I went for very stereotypical style of gangrel. And then accidentally diablerized a freaking Tremere, and Josh was like, you're a Tremere now? And I'm like, how does that work? And he's like, I'm not sure. One thing I like to do as a player, and I think, there's positives and negatives to it, is, I'm not too possessive of my characters. So if there's a situation where I'm like, this kind of... I like the way the story went, but it kind of messes up the story for the storyteller. I'm like, yo, should I make a new character and you could have this one? And it's like, Josh gets this like ridiculous Tremere gangrel to fuck around with. Oh man, that
was something else.
I'd love to see what you do with John Hook now.
Oh man. I mean,
bring him into fucking dude, if you do Leech again, bring him into Leech as like this destructive monstrosity who's like fallen down to the depths of humanity. Oosh.
They wouldn't know what to do.
But John wouldn't know what to do either.
Yeah, that's true. It'd just be a very awkward standoff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man. So you had a tier list for me. Did you?
Are we doing the tier list now?
Yeah, I have to go eat dinner at some point, but yeah.
All right. I believe it's right here. May need to move that very slightly, but you can see what it is, and you can hate me for it. Just very slightly there.
Okay.
So, you'll realize why I brought up the subject a little bit earlier. We are ranking your favorite and least favorite Vampire the Masquerade clans.
Shit.
So, this is a good point to kind of describe how it is and how it's going to go. We take the Bruja, lovely Bruja. We put them at the worst, right?
I mean...
No. Bear with. So
Okay.
next up is... I've got a list of all the people. I'm trying to see who this is. You may know. The next up
What?
is these guys. Is that the... Oh, that's Caitiff.
Yeah, that's Caitiff.
Okay. So...
They don't even get a rating.
So, how this works is I say, hey Josh, Bruja versus Caitiff, which do you prefer?
Oh man, I prefer Bruja.
Okay. So they go up to 15. Now the Caitiff are the worst.
Okay.
Josh, Caitiff and Gangrel, which one do you prefer?
Yeah, fucking Caitiff.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Gangrel.
Okay.
Don't tell Dot this, but I don't know. I don't get Gangrel. I don't get it.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. Next up is the Hecata.
Hecata are better than Gangrel.
Gangrel.
That's for fucking sure.
Okay, so they're going here so far. Caitiff?
They're definitely better than Caitiff. Like,
Okay.
you know, there's something really cool about being a fucking spooky necromancer. Whether
Yeah.
like power levels aside, anyone could roast an Hecata because like they fuck with ghosts. No one else fucks with ghosts. No one gives a shit about ghosts apart from the Hecata. So like, if you want to kick the shit out of someone, you'd be a Bruja. But like, if you want to be a cool spooky person, then you be Hecata, and that's so fucking cool.
Yeah. Bruja, Hecata. I should have like dun 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 the music in the thing.
Okay, I'm gonna say that Hecata are better than Bruja
Okay.
because like the rebel stuff is very cool and I identify with it deeply, but also I think you've seen enough of my characters to know that I enjoy playing a posh twat more often than not.
Yeah. All right. So we're starting to see a shape take form onto La Sombra.
La Sombra are worse than Gangrel.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay.
They're about as bad. Like,
Well, I mean, better
right
or
at this
worse.
moment, I'm taking into consideration the players
Yeah.
who play them. La Sombra are pretty bad.
I mean, this is your tier list. The only person who can judge you is you.
Yeah.
And everyone watching. So I mean, better than Gangrel?
Can come get me in my Twitch chat if they really want. But I'm going to say La Sombra are only marginally better than Gangrel.
But still better.
Mm-hmm.
Better or worse than Caitiff?
Worse than Caitiff.
Okay. Is this the Ravnos? Ravnos.
With the cross? Yeah.
Apparently.
Okay. I've played a Ravnos recently. Fucking top of the list, baby.
So currently they'd be there, I believe. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, okay.
Malkavians.
There's such a dichotomy because they are probably some of my favorite characters I've seen played and some of my worst.
Totally.
They're all or nothing, aren't they?
It really is. And what I'm going to say is that Malkavians are, I'm going to exclude your characters here, are often the sexiest characters.
Hey, Digby was sexy, just only in looks.
Yeah. I mean, right? It still tracks.
Or maybe
Malkavians are the sexiest characters, that's for sure. So they're better than Gangrel.
Sure. Okay.
They're better than
La
Sombra, Caitiff.
Bruja? It starts to
Yeah,
get really difficult, doesn't it?
they're better than they're better than Bruja,
Okay.
man. They're better than
Hikata?
Bruja. I don't think they're better than Hikata.
Okay, so they sit there for
Like
now, and
they're
Ravnos
right
moves
next
up
to each other, which makes sense to me because they occupy the spooky weird shit part of my brain.
I respect that. Who the hell are these people? That's not the Tremere.
Oh, Ministry.
Is that Ministry?
far left?
The circle with the dot in it.
Mm-hmm.
Ministry, okay.
Not to be mistaken with the circle with the dot in it,
Which is...
or the circle that has half a dot in it,
Or the circle
the
that's eating
circle
itself.
dragon.
Sorry, who was it again?
That's Ministry.
Ministry of...
Okay.
Ministry of Finance.
Yeah. I'm gonna say.
Are you having difficulty with better or worse than Gangrel?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Like.
Are we gonna put Gangrel up? Are they getting out of the worst?
Outstar's gonna come for me if I put them at worst. Is the thing. That's the only problem here. Is I think they're.
Isn't it?
Our ministry's the Scalies. Yeah, they're the snaky religious ones.
Isn't it interesting? Like tearing like this.
Yeah, it is. Like, I was thinking about how, or I was talking about how boring Ventrue and Toreador were earlier, but like Ministry are pretty boring to me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. Let's put them just
behind the La Sombra. Are they better than La Sombra? Because
no,
you don't like the La Sombra that much.
No, they both got like a light thing going on. They're not better than La Sombra. Let's put them just behind La Sombra.
So
both,
the
like,
Hikata move up to 10.
they're both luminance based.
Interestingly, the only ones who've gone the whole distance so far, like up to the top, are Ravnos and Hikata.
Hikata, yeah. It's because they're groovy.
This is
what they are.
Nosferatu.
They got Nosferatu are... Honestly, I've only really seen a few notes like people really often hit with Nosferatu.
Yeah.
People don't give enough credit to the variety with which you can do Nosferatu.
I really like Nosferatu.
Me too. Like, bump them up all the way next to Malkavians.
I mean, give me a sec here. So, definitely better than these. Better than Caitiff.
Definitely, yeah.
Better than Bruja.
Better than Caitiff. Better than Bruja, for sure.
Better than Malkavians.
I mean, they're definitely not as sexy in the same way, but I have a lot of love. I have a lot of love for Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Like, the more I think about it, the more I love Nosferatu. So, like, just past Malkavians.
Okay. We got Hikata.
Past Malkavians. Are they better than Hikata? Like, absolutely yes.
Okay. Well, does that wait? Does that mean that Malkavians might be better than Hikata?
It might do, yeah.
Do we need to switch them? Because it sounded like you preferred the Malkavians to the Hikata, because it was harder to put the Nosferatu above the Malkavians than the Hikata.
Oh my god. This is such a good format. That what? Yes, yes.
And then Ravnos and Nosferatu? Are they going all the way? Do you love them? Do you love the Nosferatu?
I think keep the Nosferatu where they are.
Okay, Ravnos stay ahead. That's fair.
Because the Ravnos are just fucking gleefully shit stirring assholes, and I adore that. I love that energy. Like, the Nosferatu have the same kind of shit stirring, like, fuck you thing going on, which I also adore, but it's a lot more like boohoo. Like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
People don't give enough credit to the variety of shit you can do with Nosferatu.
I assume that 3 Eyes is the Salubri.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Gangrel? Better? Worse?
Better than Gangrel.
Okay. And we're up to Ministry.
They're They're better than Ministry.
La Sombra. I've got to say, I don't know much about the Salubri. What I do know, I don't find that interesting. It feels like they went. Can I just say?
Yeah.
It feels like the White Wolf or whoever went through a phase of being like, we should have some healers, like in D&D, and they were like, let's put these fucks in.
I don't honestly have no idea how they came about, but I mean, Leech was in big part focused around some Salubri shit, and I do find their entire like history really cool. So they're above La Sombra for sure, because fuck La Sombra.
Fuck La Sombra. Hate them.
Fucking
Caitiffs? Caitiffs are a weird one.
Caitiffs are really boring.
Well, they can lead to interesting. You know, they have a certain...
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Caitiffs.
I'm gonna say leave them there, just above Caitiff.
Oh, so we're moving Hecata.
Because I find them boring in the same way.
Hecata's had such an interesting up and down experience over here, where they're just like they're up, they're down, they're, you know, I don't know.
They got their own thing going on, you know.
Who are these people?
Is my placement of the Ministry because they have been split from the set worship, thus making them less unique? No, it's more to do with the fact that, like, their whole thing is other people's things, but worse.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Thin Bloods.
From day one. From day fucking one.
Are you just gonna shoot them up to the top?
Shoot them up to the fucking top.
Are they more interesting than the Ravnos and Nosferatu?
I think they
Malkavians?
They absolutely have the potential to be, and sometimes yes.
You know.
So I put them above Ravnos. Put them above Ravnos, man.
Yeah. All right.
Because from day fucking one,
Thin
Bloods were the most interesting part of the original V5 book. I told everyone this. No one fucking listened.
Oh,
and
is
this
a protest
all I hear
vote?
about is how cool Thin Bloods are. You're welcome, internet.
This is like staking your claim, like I was here first.
I was there first.
Man, we're gonna get.
I made fucking Bloodlust because of how much I loved Thin Bloods, man.
We're gonna get interesting here because there's some coming up where you're gonna have to decide which is better, and I'm not sure how you're gonna do it. But before that, Toreador.
Toreador, I have a new begrudging respect for.
Yeah. Which is gonna make it harder again because you're gonna get up to bits where you're like, I don't like them, but I also don't like them. What's the? I'm gonna take a guess and put you at the caitiff rank, and let you decide if they're better or worse than the Sombro.
Now you see, because of Nathan and because of Peachy's Alex, I am more inclined to put them just above Bruja.
Just above Bruja?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Like the passion stuff, people have played on really interestingly for me. I've never played one aside from that one-off Halloween where Cass was one.
Yeah.
Oh. And
well, that puts Thin Bloods in the top 5 for you so far.
Good.
Currently they're at number 5, but there's no one above 5 yet. Are they other Toreador more interesting than the Hecata to you?
No.
No? Okay.
No, because I'm a sucker for spooky. No, I'm a sucker for spooky magic bullshit, and that's what the Hecata do.
Yeah.
But they play the political stuff really interestingly, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know.
Okay. So they are better than the Salubri and the Bruja.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Oh, okay. Okay. We got a gap opening between 10 and 11 here apparently.
Yep.
You know, I'm gonna leave that one till last because I'm a dick. So next up is Ventrue, who I don't think will be getting super high. So I'll put them with La Sombra because, of course, and we'll go from there.
I think
Ventrue, La
No, put them
Sombra?
just above La Sombra at the very least for starting. Like, they're
Okay,
definitely
okay.
more interesting than Caitiff as well.
Oh, okay, there we go. Salubri?
Mm,
Ooh.
mm. Like, my interest in Ventrue is
Fleeting.
it's fleeting because of, like, I love the political storylines of stuff.
They do
And
play.
they're
I
right
mean,
at the core of it.
you had some interesting in Ventrue in Bloodlust, I seem to remember.
I had a really good time with my adventure in Bloodlust.
Yeah.
I also had what was his name,
Yeah.
Grimlock
Yeah.
or something. I also played in a short campaign as a Ventrue, and he was like he was a dubstep. He was a DJ at a nightclub.
Oh lord.
And he loved dubstep. About 10 years too late. And he was like super angry at his sire, and that made him ostracized. Like, you can do more interesting things with Ventrue than I think most people imagine. Like Dukes of Ventrue. Like, Bub plays a really amazing, interesting Ventrue, and
definitely.
that's cool. And they definitely go above.
I mean, you have the tropes, and you have where players can take them to interesting points, and that all plays into how you feel about the clans, you know?
Yeah.
Salubri? Left or right?
Better than Salubri. Yeah.
Better than Salubri. Bruja. Oh, that's a fight, isn't it? Bruja.
Bruja Ventrue.
I feel like you're gonna pick Bruja just purely because you enjoy playing the posh, but you side more with the with
Eat the rich. Eat the rich sentiment is very powerful for me. So yeah. I'm happy with that.
Well, that means that the Bruja move up. And
wait, what?
The
what?
Ravnos move up.
Oh no.
So Bruja are now in your top 10.
Damn.
Yeah, they bridged that 11 gap apparently. Who are the? Is that the Banu Hakim? I think it is.
The star, yeah.
Okay. Banu Hakim, who I actually quite like. I find they're a bit limiting, but they're interesting in what they're limited to. If that makes sense.
I don't think I've seen too many Banu Hakim.
Yeah.
Like, I love the assassin trope.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So they're definitely better than Gangrel.
Okay, better than Gangrel. Good. Better than Ministry. They're kind of... I don't know why in Sunkist I put them anti to the Ministry, the Blessed, but it just kind of made sense to me in my head.
No, they definitely have their own interesting vibe of
they've got
like
almost
a kind of tradition thing going on. So
like a warrior's code.
Yeah, like a warrior's code stuff, which I can I can vibe with. Let's put them above Ministry.
Okay, La Sombra.
I think they might stop here.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you putting the Ventrue up to 10?
I think I might.
Okay. You prefer La Sombra over Banu Hakim?
Yeah.
All right. Nos are going into top 5.
That makes sense.
Having a little interesting setup here. There's 2 more left. I wonder whether either of these two are going to get to top 1 or 2. We have the Semiche. I think I'm right on that, right?
Like, it's Semiche are better than Gangrel for sure.
Yeah.
Like, they've got the same powers even in 5th edition now. Like,
which everyone's super happy about, of course.
Everyone really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
The people who played a lot of the old editions especially were hyped to learn that. And I think
better than Ministry.
They're just way more fucking interesting than Ministry, Banu Hakim,
La Sombra,
Caitiff,
Salubri.
Yes.
Okay. Ventrue.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause there for a second because you paused more for the Salubri than for the Ventrue. Are the Ventrue better than the Salubri?
Yes.
Okay, we'll leave them there then. Better than the Bruja? For the
Yes.
Oh, ooh, where are we going here? Toreador?
I don't think they're better than Toreador.
Okay. So we stop
Like,
right there. Okay, okay.
This is all entirely based on spoilers, things that I'm not going to say, but people who know.
Okay.
That's where that goes.
All right. All right. And now we're on to the big daddy, the one who may upset everything, the Tremere.
I don't know, man.
They're probably
The
worse
Tremere
than
are
Gangrel,
fucking.
right?
The Tremere are definitely better than. They're definitely better than Gangrel because Gangrel are the fucking worst, and I don't get them.
Okay, okay. So Gangrel are solidified as the worst.
They absolutely are. I didn't know this about myself, so thank you.
So Josh, Gaming FTL, and Strange Adventures. If you want to complain to him, if you're a Gangrel fan, you know where to go now.
Tremere are hot. Tremere are powerful.
I love the Tremere. They're really cool.
Tremere do wibbly magic shit, which is some of my favorite parts of games overall. Let's put them above Ministry.
Mm-hmm. Above Banu Hakim.
Banu Hakim also do magic shit.
They do.
But like it's mostly about killing people, which, you know, Tremere can do, but they're versatile, man. They're versatile.
Sure.
La Sombra are kind of cool with the shadows and shit, but like
I feel like and I don't want to blow my own horn on this, but I feel like I feel like I enjoyed, and I hope people liked what I did with the La Sombra shadows and stuff. I think it's been interesting.
Yeah. I liked it.
The eyes on the shadow was a cool. I totally ripped that from Fullmetal Alchemist. But
oh yeah,
that's what I was envisioning, and I was like, that's so freaky and cool. I have to make that a thing because it was so cool and visual in my head.
The the La Sombra are cool with shadows, but not as cool as how amazing Tremere.
I mean, the Tremere. I think the Tremere are going top 5 definitely, but I'm open for an upset.
I'm making sure that this is a valid upset because I'm comparing how I feel against each one.
Yeah.
Way more interesting than Caitiff.
Okay. Salubri?
Absolutely.
Okay. Ventrue?
Which is, you know, historically how it went. Because the fucking Tremere ate all the Salubri. So, Tremere versus... Tremere versus Ventrue is hard, man, because they occupy a similar place in my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say...
If they don't get past the Bruja, I'm gonna pitch a fit, dude. It's gonna be so funny.
Oh, man.
Oh,
I've played so much Tremere now. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Like, if I got the opportunity, would I play a Ventrue or a Tremere? I'd play a Tremere.
Okay. Bruja?
Like, I want to be a witch. Sheepy, I want to have actual physical magical powers where I sacrifice a goat to the fucking god of the forest.
Dude, you resurrected a spirit.
And we have sex. And then
as
a true
Bruja, you resurrected a spirit.
It's true. It's true. So
Bruja.
So fuck off. Just keep past Bruja 100%. Bruja needs to go down. That's for sure. They're definitely like getting equal footing here, but better than Smeetsi. Like 100% better than Toreador.
Well, then we need to pause for a sec. Are you sure Smeetsi are not better than Toreador? Because it took longer to decide On the Smichi
I think
than the
put
Toreador.
Smichi one above Toreador.
Yeah.
And then put Bruja down a couple.
Oh, really? Are Bruja
Yeah.
worse than the Ventrue?
Yeah.
Are they worse than the Salubri?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely worse than Caitiff as well.
Worse than
Wait,
Caitiff?
no, not sorry, better than Caitiff.
Okay. So they're
So
on that
that goes
11th
there.
spot. Yeah. Okay, so Toreador. Sorry, Tremere. Are they better than Hakata? Ooh, that's an interesting one. I want to see the Smichi, I want to see the Tremere go all the way to the top, but I don't think they're going to at this point.
I know, right? The Tremere.
You love Tremere, dude.
I do
How
love
are they
Tremere,
not
man.
going
What's
past the
going on?
Hakata here? Are the Hakata going up to 5?
You know that intimidating brooding thing you do when you're playing like a powerful, like in control character?
The chat's losing its mind.
Yeah, let's. No, yeah, they.
I don't want to influence you here,
Okay,
man.
no. Oh no, man.
Isn't it awesome and horrible? I love this tiering. I've done it myself. It's fucking torture.
I don't know. I feel like I've betrayed so many people in this moment. I know I'm a Tremere, but do I like Tremere? Put them one above Hakata.
Top 5.
Because they're not as sexy as Malkavians.
Wait, they don't go past the Malkavians?
I don't think they go past Malkavians, man.
Go past the Oh my god. They only just broke your top 5 clan.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Okay. This is as it currently stands. Please tell me if this is not true currently. Thin Blood number 1. Ravnos number 2. Malkavian number 3. Nosferatu number 3. Malkavian number 4. Tremere number 5.
I feel Nosferatu need to go above Ravnos.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And in fact, Ravnos might need to go down a few because
You want the Tremere above them?
I'm just riding the high of the last Ravnos I played.
Okay. Better, so worse than Malkavians?
No.
No?
Actually, no.
Oh god, it's staying there. Okay.
No.
Number 3.
It's staying there. It's staying there.
Okay. Are Nosferatu better than Thin Bloods?
No.
Okay. And Tremere definitely not better than Malkavians?
No.
Damn. Okay.
I think... Shit.
So I'm gonna give you a last look over. I'm just gonna go top 1 to the worst, which is Gangrel. Let me know if you want anything changed, but for now this will be your standing. Thin Bloods at number 1, Nosferatu number 2, Ravnos at 3, Malkavian at 4, Tremere at number 5. That's your top 5. Your top 10 is Hakata at 6, Smiche at 7, Tremere at 8.
Toreador.
Toreador at 8. Ventrue at 9. Salubri at 10. Not making the top 10 is the Bruja at 11. The Caitiff at 12. The La Sombra at 13. The Banu Hakim at 14. And the Ministry at 15. With the absolute worst, of course, being Gangrel at 16.
There's a couple of changes that I want to make. But I'm finding it difficult because
Because you don't want to make it as well.
Well, the thing is, I want Caitiff to be below. I want Caitiff to be lower than they are, but also, like, I don't think they're as bad as Ministry or Banu Hakim. So we might have to swap Lasombra and Caitiff there.
Okay.
Like, that's a small change.
I'm surprised you put the Banu Hakim above the Caitiff, to be honest. I think like the potential and the uniqueness of the Banu Hakim like combats against the you can do whatever you want of the Caitiff, because Caitiff are just like Caitiff would probably be my lowest, just because they're so formless. But I'm not trying to influence you here.
No, I know what you mean. The Caitiff are also power gamers, so yeah, bump them below Banu Hakim as well.
Okay.
Also, you need to bump Bruja above Salubri.
Are they switching sides again?
Yeah, they are.
They have to. Do they have to make your top 10?
They have to make my top 10, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Salubri aren't in my top 10.
Okay.
That's not how I feel about them. That's not how strongly I feel about them. You know how Amun and Arana was when we were putting them through there. That seems good though.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that Lasombra are below Salubri. But aside from that,
I'm not.
Wow, the Hecata Magic Boys are down at 6 out of the top 5.
Yeah.
That's how it goes sometimes. So we finished the tier list. Congratulations, everyone.
Well done.
Goddamn.
Pop a blood vessel aside from me.
Yeah. So we're done with that. You don't have to worry about it anymore, aside from the fact that it exists and people now know.
Save it and send it to me so I can insult an entire Discord full of vampire stands.
We'll do. Yeah, my only other question before we pretty much go to the goodbyes is how did you feel about the tier list? Like, I know it's kind of
it was intense.
Yeah, it's something where I find the traditional tier listing where you like pick something and you go like, oh, 1. Like when you have to face them off against each other, you find things out you didn't necessarily think you would. Where you're like, oh god, I do prefer this to this, so it stays there, and it's like it's lower than you expect. Yeah.
I didn't expect me to like Malkavians as much as I do. I think that's entirely up to Murgles.
Yeah, that was a great character.
I'm not implying that Jean was sexy here. I know but like the concept of Malkavians.
Your mind blown open. You start to see stars in the universe, and you're like, oh my god.
I want to fuck that. No.
Hey, she was a woman of God.
She was. Woman of many things by the end.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for this, Sheepy.
Yeah, dude. That was a lot of fun. And I'm like, this was the first Wandering in Bar Brawl, which we are going to be doing more, and there's going to be like extra added on. So we're going to be doing more than just this. There'll be a part which is kind of like more solo podcasty and etc. For now, we're going to keep it to this formula format, where I think the next person we're having on is Hydra, who's going to talk about his, and the tier listing will be different. It's basically things that you'll find difficult to like play against each other, which is why I went for VTM clans for you, because I was like, I thought that would be interesting. So yeah, let's turn that. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Is it? It's that. There we go. We're going back to the brawl, and yes, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this little exit interview thing, which I'm calling Bar Brawl, and next Monday we'll have more Sunkist, of course. Links. This is going to be a video on YouTube as well. Links to like everything Josh will be in the description. So if you want to see any of the things he's doing, I'll try
I
and...
want to get a load of Josh.
Yeah, Josh, if you send me, like, a list of where people can find all your stuff...
Fucking, I have to do that myself. I don't know.
I mean, I'll do my best to find what I can, but, you know, it's... If there's a lot of things you need to... If there's things you want specifically, send them to me and I'll add them to the list. And, yeah, go check out everything Josh is doing, because I think by the sheer length of this, you can see that we have an interesting time talking about them.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you
Thanks,
enjoyed. And we will catch you when we catch you. And obviously on this channel. Yeah.
See you later.